Shalom, all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the bishops and the elders, the great millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopefully elect. I am the brother Kaya from GMS Indianapolis, one of the branches of Indiana. And just watching some of these videos, some of these reaction videos, right? You see the topic of this one. Black women are facing a loneliness epidemic and no one is talking about it. I watched another one, thousands of single black women at a church event, something to that effect. All right, I didn't see that one, the one on the right of it. And you know, the one woman was speaking about one of the clips that was played in the video. The one woman is speaking about how she's 24 years old, never had a relationship, never even held hands. But see, the thing is, they never have relationships. They don't do these romantic things, but they're sexually active. They don't say I'm 24 years old, I never had a relationship, and I'm a virgin, right? Because that is the society in which we live in, and a lot of these women act why uh, men won't, fit a certain narrative that they expect them to fit, is because men don't want to fit that narrative for women who are communal property. It always has been like that. Even in the scriptures, it says that a shameless woman, let's grab that, a shameless woman, Sirach 26 and 25, a shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, right? So what's the another word for dog? What's the current epithet we use today? A bitch. And that name or that pejorative or that derogatory term is associated with a very nasty behavior. And that's the behavior you see perpetrated today amongst our people. From the likes of Megan Thee Stallion, Rihanna, Beyonce, all the current social role models who women follow. And they see those women with their millionaire husbands and their life situations, and they think that imitating them, they'll get those things. And it's not true. It says, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. A shamefaced woman is a humble and submissive woman. All right. You got women that'll look you dead in your face and fight you. You know. So another thing they were saying in the video, um, the one woman was like, she got to cut her own grass. She has to shovel her own snow. She got to change her own oil. And men are more than just items of utility. But that's how women are led to see men as a tool to be, used to their purpose. Give me a second. You see, it's one thing to be looked at and respected as an individual, a human being, but we don't even get that as men, let alone to be respected as a man and as a leader. You see? And then another clip I was watching, uh, Salaki, I'm being long winded, but I'm getting to a point. And another clip I was watching, oh, pardon me, let me finish explaining the last one. The woman also said she got to have sex with her own self, you know? And that's a whole nother can of worms, so to speak, in that field with all the sexual toys and objects and just female sexuality in general. It's just very there's just really no shame in anything, right? Um, let me grab the scripture here because the point I was about to make was the beauty standards, the beauty standards that these women deal with. Men don't want them. You had the one woman speaking her piece, and she had one eyelash on and another eyelash off, right in public on camera. In times past, in the privacy of your own home was where that's where you were able to like kind of lounge and let your hair down and not, you know, be so much as a representation. But now you go out in public, you see a woman with one eyelash. First of all, you ain't supposed to have them on anyway. But she got one of them on flip flops, pajamas, shower cap. It used to be a scarf, but the scarf turned into a shower cap. So anyway, this is Jeremiah 4:30. And when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Now, some context behind this scripture. This scripture was talking about Israel as a whole, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We make up the children of Israel as a nation. That's our nationality. And as a nation at this time, we were flirting with, other nationalities trying to make alliances. So this is figurative language here, but it can also be applied to women literally, because now they're being spoiled. The feminist system is crumbling, and now the feminist system, said so-called black women in particular were doing better than men, more educated, more businesses, higher earnings. But now they're crying. All right, the videos won't stop. Um, coming out with various different women across the world, women, so-called black women of all races, really. Predominantly, though, so-called black and so-called white, because those were the major two races affected by feminism, right? And so, if things are just so good and just so great, well, what's the issue? What's the problem? When men are just adjusting, we're just adjusting to what you're giving us, and the adjustment is no hymen, no diamond. It says, though thou clothest thyself with crimson. Yeah, crimson is expensive. Yeah, these women get dressed up, they get expensive. Red bottoms, Louis Vuitton, Michael Kors purses, if that's still a thing, Birkin bags, the sunglasses. These jobs, these nurse jobs, these women working overtime that they can now afford, these expensive clothes and items on their own. It says, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rinsest thy face with painting, right? The makeup has become very dramatic as time passes on, right? But it says, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair. It's to no avail, it's to no avail. All the things you're doing is not producing the results that you want. Thy lovers will despise thee. Yeah, the men you want actually despise you. And the ones that, relent to their carnal desires, they'll have sex with you. But to, like the wedding vow say, to have and to hold, to love and to cherish, for rich or for poor, no, not at all. They will seek thy life. Now, I was reading this last night. Uh, I was just thinking about Leah, the wife of Jacob. Now, when you read about Leah, Genesis 29:16, it says, and Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. So this described them. Rachel had the physicality that men like and enjoyed. But what stood out with Leah was that she was tender-eyed. Now let's look at that. Tender, soft, delicate, weak. She's a feminine woman. She wasn't these proud, stare you down women. All right. You know how you say don't look a dog in the eye. Certain animals you don't look them in the eye. It's like these women, you can't look them in the eye. Especially these aggressive so-called black women, you can't look them in the eye. They'll stare you up and down, or the famous boo. You might be trying to tell her some tissue stuck to her shoe. But her initial reaction oftentimes is aggression. Tender, delicate, weak of heart, timid. A woman's place in society, is designed for her to be timid. You can't manipulate the earth at the extent a man can. You can't even, like in all actuality, you can't even really protect yourself. How would life be if all these institutions that man created didn't exist? You know, fire department, police force, you know, uh, plumbers, mechanics, soft, gentle words, tender hearted. All right, and the scripture wrote about this because this is a very noticeable. Men notices this in women, especially now, and this is what men are starting to value more and more and more. So you women who might have the physical, and you always wondering, you see a woman that may or may not be on your level, and you downplay her, and you understand that what she has that you doesn't is because of this. This is what she has. First Peter 3:1. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. You women don't agree with that. That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. They may be won by your conduct. But nowadays, what happens? Any small infraction, you women leave. It's so much now to the point where it's called irreconcilable differences. Which that's BS basically. Irreconcilable differences or financial reasons. While they behold your chance compensation coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and wearing of gold or putting on of apparel. And that's what women place a lot of stock in. Here it is, the inside, their spirit, their personality is lacking, but they covering that up with expensive hairdos and expensive clothing. All right, and that's not going to fool a man. That's not. That's I'll put it like this. That's not going to fool the guy that you want. It says, but let it be the hidden man of the heart. Yeah, the inside, the character, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit. Meek and quiet spirit. Okay? Likened unto Leah, what they call her uh uh socket, uh tender eyes, right? It says, which is in the sight of the most high of great price. And men are valuing that more and more and more beyond the beauty. Now let's look up Leah. Leah. Her name means weary. Okay? But this is what it says, daughter of Laban, first wife of Jacob, and mother of Reuben. Reuben was the firstborn. That is a great honor upon a woman to bear a man's firstborn son. Firstborn child, let alone the firstborn son. Okay? Simeon, Levi. Levi was the tribe of the priests. Judah. Judah was the tribe of the kingly line. Issachar, Zebulun, and Dinah. So out of Leah, a um, tenderized woman, meek, submissive, feminine, and when it's weak, is more the feminine aspect. All right, with the Most High, that is of great value, and she was blessed to have the firstborn son, the priestly son, and the kingly son. All those lines, she birthed those lines. You know, Jacob was the father, of course. You know, but they came through her. All right, sons in general, 6 sons and a daughter. That's a blessing. So anyway, with that, Lord's will, this was edifying lesson for hopefully let all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash, Shalom.